for Forward Live, which this is the live stream podcast or whatever that you want to call this, where we talk about real solutions to real problems, real shit that helps real people navigate real life. And today, I want to talk about something that's considered to be fundamental to success. And I want to say this first before I ask the question, how many of you, first of all, have had someone tell you that you need to have a positive mental attitude in order to succeed? Show of hands. I know I can't see your hands, but you can see mine. Hey, the reality is that positive mental attitude is not essential to success. You see, I've met some people who were eminently successful who were surly, sullen, angry, bitter people. I've actually seen people who have succeeded in that mindset, persisting in that mindset. So if positive mental attitude were all that it took to be successful, there'd be a lot more successful people out here. And watch this. People say they'll refer to James Allen's book, As a Man Thinketh. And Aaron and I talked about that on Friday on Phreology. If you get a chance, go back, take a look at that or listen to it. But as a man thinketh, as you think, so are you. Is that exactly true? Because see, here's the thing. You can think that you are as wealthy as Jeff Bezos, and you won't be. Here's what a positive mental attitude actually gets you. It gets you to recondition your mind to the circumstances that you're faced with. A positive mental attitude in and of itself is not going to give you any success. It is not going to even be foundational to your success. What it will do is it will get you to the Covey principle, which is basically life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. So a positive mental attitude will change how you react to situations and circumstances, but it will not change your situations or circumstances. You cannot think your circumstances to change. You can't wish them, hope them, pray them to change. It just doesn't work. But a positive mental attitude will change how you look at yourself. Because see, if you have a negative mental attitude, it will cause you to look at yourself in a very negative light. But if you have a positive mental attitude, you will see the person in the mirror as someone who you can relate to, someone who you can talk to, someone who you can identify with. And listen, and I know that sounds like, Derrick, you're preaching to the choir. Well, am I? Am I really? Because the reality is, a lot of us, we really don't know who we are. We have no clue. We have no self-identity. We have no self-realization. And this positive mental attitude, all it does is it helps you adjust that. Now, one of the things that I think about with positive mental attitude is if you can change the way you look at things, like, for example, a positive mental attitude about money will cause you to look at money differently. You will begin to see money as a tool or as a means to an end and not as an end unto itself. And when you have that positive mental attitude about money, it reconditions your mind, which it leads you to reposition yourself relative to situations and circumstances. And so you can put yourself in a position or a posture to attract situations that will bring you money. Now, let me say this, because now I'm speaking from personal experience. I'm speaking from something that I am going through right now. Holy shit. And it's this, that I can have all the positive mental attitude in the world. I can think positive thoughts. I can think happy thoughts. I can visualize things. But watch this. If you don't act on what you're thinking, then your thinking becomes just an empty container. Thoughts plus action equal results. You can't think your way into success. You can't hope your way, wish your way, pray your way. Yes, I said pray. You cannot pray your way into success, because if it were, there'd be a whole bunch of religious people right now who are eminently successful, and they're not. But if you apply a positive mental attitude to, and watch this, it can't be an overarching positive mental attitude, because see, there are some things that you're going to be positive about and certain things that you're going to be negative about. For example, I can be very positive about money, and that will change my mind, which will change my actions toward money, and hopefully, it will cause money to be attracted to me. But at the same time, I can have a positive mental attitude about money. I can have a positive mental attitude about relationships, but I can have a negative attitude about politics. I can have a negative attitude about the economy. You're not going to have an overarching positive mental attitude about everything. It's just not going to be global. It doesn't work that way. So what you have to do is you have to apply this positive mental attitude to specific things. And when you're applying it to specific things, you have to apply it with action. You have to think of a goal and think of a plan of how to achieve that goal. Because again, if you're just thinking it, you're producing an empty container with nothing in it. There's no power in thought alone. It's thought plus action. And action can be movement of the body. It can be how you react to something. It can be what you say in response to something. But you have to do something. And again, I'm speaking from me, from my standpoint again. I can say all these positive things. I can give myself all of these affirmations, and affirmations are great. They're excellent. I encourage you to have moments of affirmation where you're speaking kind words, speaking positive words to yourself. But when you're speaking these words to yourself, you have to turn around and couple that with action. You have to do something. Now, let me say this other thing about positive mental attitude is that not just as a man thinketh, but as Benjamin Franklin said, birds of a feather flock together. If you're hanging around people who have a negative mental attitude, your attitude can't help but be negative. Remember, you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, which means that you are number 3 in your group of regularly scheduled companions. And if they're all negative, you're going to be negative. But if they're positive, there's a good chance that you'll be positive, because you're going to be the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So it's not just as you think, but as you associate. And finally, as you do. You cannot continue to do the things that got you into the mess that you're in and expect them to get you out. That's the clinical definition of insanity. You have to be willing to change your minds, change your mind, change your actions, change your words, change your habits, which will in turn change your character, which will change your destiny. You have to do something. I can't stress that enough. I know I'm saying that over and over again. I'm sounding like a broken record or a skip CD or a broken MP3. I don't know what you want to call it these days. But the reality is you have to be prepared to change. And change requires both agility, that is the ability to change directions quickly, and flexibility, which is to be elastic. You have to expand to your situations or shrink to your situation. And that agility and flexibility is what's going to give you power. And when you learn how to do this, first of all, you learn to have a positive mental attitude. You learn to couple that with the right words, the right actions, the right decisions. And then what you have to do is you have to be prepared to expand to the situation or contract to fit the situation. And that's a big thing. Like I'm a person with a big personality. And one of the hardest things it is for me to do is that sometimes I've learned this the hard way, that sometimes you have to shrink back. You can't, if you have a big personality, you can't have a big personality all the time. I'm telling you that what'll happen is that you'll overfill a situation and you'll look like an ass. And again, I'm speaking from experience here. I'm not I'm not just telling you, don't be an ass. I'm saying I've actually been there. Okay. So you have to learn to expand. And when you're expanding, it's like stretching yourself, going beyond what you normally think that you're capable of, going beyond what you normally would think, going beyond what would normally be comfortable. You have to be able to expand, and then you have to also be able to contract. You have to be able to shrink. And all of this can be helped by your positive mental attitude. But your positive mental attitude in and of itself is not going to achieve any of this. It's not going to change not one fucking thing. So, you want to have a positive mental attitude. You want to hang around people who are positive as you are, but at the same time, do not put all of the eggs of your destiny into the basket of your attitude, because your attitude is going to change. And again, like I said, you can have positive mental attitude about certain things and negative mental attitude about other things, and that's okay. That just means you're human. You have a pulse. So don't beat yourself up if you're saying, well, I'm supposed to have a positive mental attitude and I have a negative attitude about this. Well, rock with that. Sit with that. Because there may be a valid reason for you to have a negative mental attitude about something. You catch what I'm saying? And listen, I'd like to know what you think about that. Tell me your experiences about positive mental attitude. Tell me your experiences of whether or not it has impacted your life. Because again, I'm not saying that positive mental attitude is not good. Don't get me wrong. Don't put words in my mouth, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that positive mental attitude alone, in and of itself, does nothing. It does absolutely nothing. But if you couple it with right thoughts, right words, right actions, you'll get right results. So until the next time, I want you to be happy, be well, be filled with peace, and also make sure that you catch Freeology Friday with me and Aaron Tomlinson every Friday night at 7 Eastern Time, 6 Central, 5 Mountain, and 4 Pacific. I guess that's how it would work. And we talk about a variety of things, and we cover a lot of the things that I cover here, and we unpack them a little bit more because I do this in a very concise format. Okay. So again, until the next time, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. And I hope this helps. Be positive, but don't let being positive be the only thing you're doing. Okay. Peace, everyone.